are quite literally screwed, okay? It's gonna mess up your entire life. What is up, guys? This is Brett here from restrictive, and welcome back to the channel. Today in this video, we're gonna be talking about remote work, and more specifically, the pitfalls of remote work and finding an online job. That's right, I said pitfalls. So this is one of the biggest questions that I get on this channel, and that is, Brett, how do I find a remote online job? You guys watch these videos, you want to come out to somewhere like Thailand, and of course you need to make money, so automatically you default to wanting to find a remote job. That may be a problem. Now, before we get into this, if you are interested in working online out here in Thailand or anywhere else for that matter, then head on over to my website, go to brettdev.com/workshop, because over there I've got a complete video series, a 4-part series explaining exactly how I moved to Thailand, what I used to do to work online, what I currently do to work online, and ideas that you can, pursue to work online also. So head on over to the website, brettdev.com/workshop, and check that out. Right, so you want to move to Thailand, you want to get a remote online job, and in this video I'm going to tell you why that may be a bad idea. You see, the problem with a remote online job is you have the same problems that you have with any regular job, okay? And that is that you are dependent on somebody else to pay you a wage to support your lifestyle. Now, if you're back in the West and you lost your job, you would be screwed, right? But the difference is, back in the West, if you lose your job, you can sign on, you can get benefits, you can get all these other things. If you lose your job and you're out in a foreign country like Thailand, or if you're being a digital nomad and traveling the world, you are quite literally screwed, okay? It's gonna mess up your entire life. Now, a remote online job may seem like a good idea when you're just starting out on your journey. If you're a single guy or girl and you're thinking, I want to be a digital nomad, I want to go out there, I want to work online, this company's agreed to pay me for working remotely, that's awesome. However, what's going to happen is you're going to solve one problem, and over time you're going to create a whole new series of problems. So the problem obviously you wanted to solve is you wanted to become location independent, so congrats, you've done that. But the longer you spend as a location independent entrepreneur, employee in this case, the longer you spend as a location independent employee, the more ties you're going to start to build outside of your home country, okay? And like I said, you're going to take away one problem and you're going to replace it with another. So let's just say, for example, you get a remote online job, you move to Thailand, and all of a sudden you get a girlfriend, okay? What happens if you lose your remote online job? You're going to have to leave your girlfriend, all right? That's not going to be very good. You're probably going to feel worse about having to leave your girlfriend than you would have felt before about the fact that you weren't location independent, okay? Take that even further, what happens if you get a wife? What happens if you get married? What happens if you have a family, right? You're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years deep into living in a foreign country, you've got this remote online job, but you can lose that job. What happens if that job goes away? You've got huge problems now that you need to overcome, that you didn't have before, that you weren't thinking about before when you were just a single guy, single girl wanting to go travel the world, okay? So these are very big problems, and I've seen it happen a lot with lots and lots of friends that come here, have remote online jobs, they're making good money, it's all great, and then something like that happens, okay? So keep watching, because at the end of the video I'm going to tell you some ways to kind of get around this, okay? I'm not just completely dogging on getting a remote online job, but these are just some things that you have to consider, because like I said, this is one of the biggest questions that I get on the channel is, Brett, how do I find a remote online job? And there could be other ways, more secure ways to do it than just working for a company abroad. One thing that I think everybody should just remember is that whether you're working remote as a location independent remote online job, or if you're working a job just like in your home country, times change, things change, and your employer really doesn't care about you, okay? Just because you live in a foreign country and you're going to be absolutely screwed, if their business says that they need to fire you, they're going to fire you, all right? And Especially one of the big problems is if you landed that online job, that remote job, out of luck, maybe it was the employer you currently worked for and you convinced them to let you work remotely, you're going to really, really struggle to get another remote job. Now, depending on the country you go and you stay in, you might be able to get a job locally, but in Thailand, you can't really work locally, okay? Thailand has really strict work laws that will prevent you as a foreigner from getting any type of job that a Thai person could do. This is why most people out here work online. So you're going to need to be able to get another remote online job if you lose your current one. So this brings me on to another point, my next point, and that is people are always asking me, how can I convince my current employer to let me work online? Or they're always asking me, how can I get clients in my home country and then come out to Thailand and work for them out there? I always say to people, start as you mean to go on, okay? If, let's say you're freelancing or you're working for clients and you're starting your own online business, your own online agency or something, and your strategy to get those clients is to go around to them in person where you currently live so that you can get them as clients and then go away to Thailand. Well, if you lose those clients over time, you have no way of getting new ones again because the way you got them was being back in your home country, right? So I would not suggest doing that whatsoever. I would say figure out how to get clients online, get them online, even if you're in your home country, and then move out to Thailand because you've solved the biggest problem, which is how do I land clients remotely? Because if you're going to be working remotely, that's what you're going to have to do. Same goes with a remote online job. If I'm going to get a remote online job, find out how to apply and get hired in an online position remotely through websites. There's lots of sites. I'll get into those in just a moment. And then get a job that way. So that way, if you lose your remote online job and you're out here in Thailand, you've already been through the process. You already know how to land a remote online job from a distance. Okay, it may seem easier to just convince your current employer or, to go and get clients where you currently live, but long term, that's going to mess you up. So with that said, if a remote online job isn't the answer, or if working for your current employer out here in Thailand isn't the answer because of the problems I've just outlined, what should you do instead? Well, you could do what I just suggested. You could get hired online, get a remote online job, but get it online. Yeah, don't work out some weird little deal with your current employer or work for a friend of a friend, or do something, do it properly. Do it the proper way it's supposed to be done. Get used to doing online interviews. Find out where to find remote online jobs. And there are tons of online jobs at the moment. So, especially because of COVID. So that's kind of allowed almost everyone to work remotely. The best sites there's a couple of remote online job websites that I can't remember what they're called. They're called like, I'll link them in the description. But the big one that I always look at is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is, a lot of people don't know, it's like a massive job board, right? And you can actually filter by whatever job you're looking for, and you can actually specify remote. And there are thousands and thousands of jobs on LinkedIn that are remote, like specifically remote, okay? So those are really good ways to find an online job. Do it the proper way, do it through those channels. The second option is, and get good at them, and get good at actually, getting hired online and getting jobs properly through the internet. Because if you've done it once and you can do it a couple of times that way, then you're a bit more secure than you would be otherwise. The second option is you can always just start your own business. Okay, you can kind of go freelance. You can do what I've done. Okay, you can become like a freelancer / consultant. This is not really any different to getting a remote online job, except for the fact that you get hired on a consultancy basis. You get hired on like a contractual basis. You still need to find the client, you still need to convince them to hire you, or you still need to apply for a position that's currently open that you can fulfill. But the good thing about freelancing and consulting is when you come at it from a freelancer or a consulting perspective, companies don't really care where you are, where you work, what location you're in. They just want to get the job done. And if you're a freelancer consultant and you could just be pitching the skills that you already have. You could be pitching what you already do for companies. but just for multiple different companies. There's a way to make much more money as well, and to be more flexible with your time, all of that stuff, okay? Because you're running it like your own business, you're coming in, you're calling the shots, you can charge more as a consultant, you can work for multiple clients. And this is, I always say, if you're going to go through the whole process of doing an interview, trying to get a job, it's really funny because people are stuck in such this employee mentality. They say, I can never freelance, I can never be a consultant, I just need to get a job. Well, it's the same thing. If you're going to go on, it's actually harder. If you're going to go online, apply for a job, go on an interview, you're negotiating from like a position of weakness. That's difficult, like doing job interviews and stuff. If you're a freelancer, if you're a consultant, you're negotiating from a position of, I'm going to come in and be able to help you. You're negotiating from a position of power. It's actually much easier to land clients, in my opinion, that are going to pay you more. You're not going to have to work as much than it would be to land a job, okay? And the best thing about, doing freelance consultancy work is you can have multiple clients. So this is, we're getting away from having a regular job here and we're making it more and more secure. If you've got multiple clients, I've spoken about this on this channel before many times, and if one of those clients fires you or drops off, you have other clients, so you're not in the shit, all right? You have many fingers in many pies. That's one of my favorite sayings. If you've got 4, 5, 6 clients and you lose half of them and you're in a foreign country, well, you're fine. You just work for the other 3 whilst you replace the 3 that you lost, okay? It's much better to work part-time for multiple people, especially if you're going to be living as an expat or a digital nomad, than it is to work full-time for one person. You should bear that in mind at all times, okay? Part-time for multiple people, never full-time for one person. Never let one person take all of your time, or never give all of your time to one person, because they can easily just take it all away and then you're absolutely wrecked. Another thing you should do at bare minimum if you're going to get a remote online job is you should get really, really good at saving. Now there's this whole thing of, you should put at least 10% of your income away every single month, and I agree with that. However, if you're going to be living in a foreign country and you're going to be doing a remote online job, you need to get a year's worth of savings put away as quickly as possible. And even more than that, I would say if you're going to be living out in Thailand, you want to be getting about 2 years of savings put away, and you want to be trying to put as much money as you can into investments that are going to pay you money. So, once you've got 2-3 years worth of savings, maybe take a year of those savings and buy a condo that's going to pay you monthly income or something like that, okay? You need to just continuously prepare for the worst, and accept that if you did lose your remote online job, it may take you a year or 2 years to get another one, all right? Don't assume that you're going to get another remote online job in a few months or even in a year. That advice, that save 10%, is good for, if you're living in the West, because it's, it's going to get you through the year. You're probably going to be able to get another job in a year. Bear in mind, trying to get a remote job from Thailand is going to be way harder, okay? You have way less options. Obviously, this all depends on what you do and all that, but for most people, for a lot of people, it's going to be harder. So get really, really good at saving. And if you're living out in Thailand, place is cheap, your cost of living is really low, you should be able to save a lot of money. And a year's worth of savings in Thailand is not a year's worth of savings in the US or something like that. So that's an obvious one, okay? Don't be dumb with your money. Don't blow your money. You're going to be getting a Western salary in what people call a third world country, not third world, but in a developing country. You're going to be getting a Western salary in a developing country. The least you can do is put half your money away or 3/4 of your money away. Save it, get investments, do shit with it, get secure off your investments, get secure savings, then maybe spend your money, okay? But definitely do not blow it. That's it for the video, guys. That's my advice on the pitfalls of getting a remote online job. I hope this helped. I hope this gave you something to think about. As I said, this is one of the biggest questions I get in the comments section, which is, Brett, how do I get a remote online job? And if you're going to get a remote online job, think twice about it, okay? Go back through this video, take a look at the points that I mentioned. You might want to become a freelancer consultant instead. If you are going to get a remote online job, start as you mean to go on. Get it remotely. Yep, don't work out some silly little deal with a friend or your current employer or anything like that. And if you do work remotely as just for an employer, get really, really good at saving. Okay, that's it for the video, guys. Like I said right at the start, if you do want to work online, if you want to know how I moved to Thailand, what I did, what I currently do, you know, how I do that freelancing, consulting sort of stuff, then you're going to want to check out this link right here. And if you like this video, then you're probably really going to like this one as well. So click that one and watch that. That's all for now, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.